Kipper also said that I think over the weekend that Charlie Coyle might become available. There's also a lot of questions about Marty Nietzsche in Colorado. I don't think the Leafs have the assets to go after a guy like that. But Charlie Coyle, for me, if you're looking for an answer in the lower end of center, who's a playoff performer who I've watched years and years of him beating the Leafs up and eating them alive, a guy like him and Scott Laughton being able to come into center. I'm not talking about a third line. I'm talking about like third, fourth. Charlie Coyle is instantly attractive to me.
All right, so then John Tavares is your second line center.
I mean, I still think they need an upgrade there, but I don't think they're going to be able to find one this summer.
Right, so because like if you get Coyle, then you resign to the fact that it's Matthews, Coyle, Tavares.
But if you put Laughton on the wing, and then you get
another.
Hold on, but you get injured. People get injured, so you need Laughton there as insurance. But look at this. Okay, so
conf.
So Jonas Siegel put together a list of like 9 potential center candidates that the Leafs could go after, not being overly likely in any particular case, but some are big swings. The names are Deneau in Los Angeles, who I love, Kadri in Calgary, Carlson in Vegas, Ryan O'Reilly with the Preds. I don't think that's going to happen.
No.
JG Pageau, who I've brought up before, who would guarantee that Tavares is your second line center because he'd definitely be your third line guy, but I love his defensive play. Braden Shen in St. Louis, who they desperately wanted at the deadline. Alex Wenberg, San Jose. Pavel Zacha, Bruins, if the Bruins are trying to make on. And the one that blew me away, because JT Miller and Vinny Trocheck are already there, is Mika Zibanejad. Now, he has 5 years at $8.5 million left on his contract. But this is a guy who performs in the playoffs, has a cost-controlled deal, fits the timeline of what they're going to do.
Performs in the playoffs is going to set some Rangers fans off.
Oh, okay, sorry. 44 points in his last 43 games. Performs on the Leafs curve.
No, but like to me, fair. That's a little bit like the Marner points thing in the playoffs.
Okay.
Like people bring up the Marner points and be like, "Look at Marner's got. I got to do a deep dive in 60 games.
I should do a deep dive on him. What's his 5, 6, and 7?
Yeah, stats? Show me when they won.
Yeah, no. Fair. I mean, they went They went to the conference final a year and a half ago.
Totally,
twice, 2022 and 2024. That's a fascinating one. The Kadri one is probably the most fun.
I know, but you know what I'm actually worried about is Kadri's age. He's like 35, 34,
He's Tavares' age.
I know.
They were same draft.
That's and $7 million at that. I mean, I
Tavares being a 90s baby doesn't compute.
I know.
Tavares is always in my 1990.
Yeah, I'm an 80s.
Oh, I thought that's why he wore 91.
Oh, is it? I thought I was. Anyway, I think he's 90.
I don't know.
I was looking at I was on his DB.
Hey,
like,
you know what?
He always seems like the oldest man ever. Like since I've watched the Leafs and he's been in the league, he seems like the oldest man that's ever been alive. And
him and Kadri are the same age.
It's ridiculous.
Kadri might be older by months. I don't know.
Yeah.
That doesn't compute
at all. No. So just these athletes.
Those guys played junior together.
Yes,
ridiculous.
On the same team.
Ridiculous. So which one of those 9 candidates you're saying?
I love Zibanejad. I love that.
Is he available?
Well, I mean, I think the Rangers.
I think
people are saying that the Rangers have. Everybody's saying like Chris Drury's got the hardest job this offseason because Kreider you could see as an interesting candidate, but they're going to have to retain on that deal, right? Or take some bad money back, whatever it is. And I think that there was a social media post about Brandon Tanev being in Toronto over the weekend, and obviously Brandon Tanev's brother lives here and they're from here and whatever.
Come on.
But you'd think a Brandon Tanev type of player would be exactly what Brad would want. But you got to clear out your David Kampfs and your Calle Jarnkrok's to do that, right?
So I was kind of thinking about that.
K'Andre Miller is apparently also very available.
Very
interesting.
Attractive. I mean, 25-year-old. I don't know what you do with the decor on account of you have so many guys there. And some of them you can't even move. But the Leafs have a number of salary retained guys. Carlo is going to be retained for years.
2 more.
Laughton is retained
1.5 million.
And the Leafs have all 3 slots. Like you can, and those are used up by buyouts and by salary retention trades.
None of the buyouts, by the way, when people suggested that the Leafs would be considering buyouts, none of the buyouts make sense. So just wipe that from your memory. They're not buying anybody out unless
when you have 3 retention slots,
you can get somebody to tag an asset and then you can buy them out.
And like, even if you look at it like, oh, they're retaining $1 million on Camp or whatever it is for the next 2 years.
Who cares?
Okay, but look at what you're saving on Carlo and look at what you're saving on Lawton. Lawton for 1.5 is insane. It's pretty good.
And Kampf has lost his spot.
Yes.
He is not a top 12 player at the end of this season.
12 that's a crazy, ruthless statement, but you're right. So we never talk about it in terms of top 12.
No, he's not. He's not.
He's just a scratch.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
He's not.
That's ruthless.
And like, you know, the season where he had 10 goals, like, well, maybe he shouldn't have been that high up in the lineup to get 10 goals or whatever it was when he came over from Chicago.
Listen, he's given the Leafs some good games.
Sure.
He has, but it's not a fit anymore. It's not a fit anymore. And you have the sluts.
Mm-hmm. Well, I wonder if the Leafs buy out somebody else's contract and are able to recoup assets that way. Like if you're, let's say, I don't know what Chris Kreider's buyout is, but like if the Rangers gave you a first-round pick and you go and you buy out Chris Kreider with one of your slots, well, there's a great way to get a first-round pick back in the system.
Listen, I don't think that's going to happen, but like now you're cooking with gas.
You got to be creative.
Yes.
Is the point I'm trying to make.
Thank you. Like if you're looking for like,
and by the way, DJ Zbad, I would friggin' love.
It'd be fun.
I don't know if he's hard enough. You need somebody. No, you need some people in the playoffs, and Rangers fans will tell you this, who are bastards, and that's why I like Chris Kreider so much.
Yes. the reason that this conversation is good is like, listen, they don't have a ton of prospects. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's a weakness. They don't have a ton of picks. All right, that's a weakness. What is the strength? They have all 3 of these slots and so much money.
Mm-hmm. And you can't solve your problems in free agency if you're the Leafs, especially with guys like Bennett probably not going anywhere. Toews probably going to the Winnipeg Jets. The Leafs look like the bridesmaid in that one right now.
How about you look at the Stars and call them up and go, hey, so you guys are screwed, huh? And figure something out there. They are, aren't they?
Supposedly. You mean with the defense?
No, with their cap situation.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though, is the defense, how they're spending their money.
Right.
Labushkin, right?
Call them up. Hey, so
Get
you
Bush
guys
back.
are sort of boned.
Get Bush back.
Yeah, how do we... I don't know, man. Like, let's think. Let's get creative here. We're in that funny season. The Cup final is still on. There's some really exciting hockey. The draft hasn't even happened yet. But the offseason is upon us.
Yeah.
30 out of 32 teams are full-blown off-season mode.
Yep.
The combine is happening. Everyone's together. Everyone's imagining the future. Sugar plums and Stanley Cups dance in their heads. It is draft eve.
Yes.
For the next 3 weeks.